You're in your 20s, you owe $90,000, and every piece of advice online makes you feel like you have to choose, pay off the debt, or live your life. Nobody's telling you the truth. You don't have to choose, but you do have to understand the game first. Because $90,000 in debt isn't one problem, it's 4 or 5 problems wearing the same coat, and solving the wrong one first cost you years. Let's start with the number that actually matters, not the $90,000, the interest rate. That number, not the balance, is what's quietly eating your future. A $90,000 debt at 4% interest behaves completely differently than $90,000 at 22%. One is a slow walk, the other is a treadmill that speeds up while you sleep. So the first thing you do, before you pay a single extra dollar, is list every debt you have. Name, balance, interest rate, minimum payment, 4 columns, 1 page. That's your real enemy laid out clearly for the first time. Most people in their 20s with $90,000 in debt are carrying a mix. Student loans, federal and private, maybe a car, maybe credit cards, maybe medical bills. Each one behaves differently. Each one needs a different strategy. Federal student loans are the friendliest debt you'll ever have. Income-driven repayment, forgiveness programs, pause options during hardship. You have tools with federal loans that don't exist anywhere else. Private loans, different story, higher rates, less flexibility, no federal protection. Credit cards, those are the ones that can turn $90,000 into $130,000 faster than you think. The average credit card interest rate right now sits above 20%. At that rate, if you only pay the minimum, you could be paying for over a decade on a balance that barely shrinks. So here's the first rule of managing $90,000 in your 20s. Stop all extra payments on low-interest debt. Redirect everything to high-interest debt first. This is called the Avalanche Method, and it saves the most money over time. You minimum pay everything else. You attack the highest rate first, aggressively. When that's gone, you roll that payment into the next highest rate, and so on. The alternative is the Snowball Method. Pay smallest balance first, ignore the rate. It's psychologically satisfying. You get wins faster, but it costs more money in the long run. Both work. The one you'll actually stick to is the right one for you. Now let's talk about something most debt advice completely ignores. Your income is the only real variable here. You cannot cut your way out of $90,000. Not completely, not comfortably. Frugality helps, but cutting lattes doesn't close a $90,000 gap. More income does. So while you're managing debt, you have to be building income simultaneously. Not instead of paying debt, alongside it. Your 20s are the highest leverage decade of your career. Skills you build now compound for 30 years. That's not motivation, that's math. Every dollar you earn above your expenses is a weapon, aimed at interest rates. So what moves the income needle fastest? Negotiating your salary. Most people never ask. Most employers expect you to ask. A single salary negotiation can add $5,000 to $15,000 per year. At $10,000 extra per year, your $90,000 debt timeline shrinks by years. Not months, years. Side income is the other lever, not a side hustle grind that burns you out. One targeted skill, applied part-time, freelance writing, web design, video editing, tutoring. Something that pays $500 to $1,500 extra per month. That's $6,000 to $18,000 per year aimed directly at your debt. At $12,000 extra per year, you're potentially debt-free in 5 to 6 years instead of 15. Now here's the part nobody talks about: living your 20s while doing all of this. Because the advice, just pay debt and sacrifice everything, doesn't account for what that costs you. Not financially, psychologically. Debt fatigue is real. If your entire life becomes about a number on a screen, you burn out. And burned out people make bad financial decisions. They overspend to cope, they stop tracking, they give up. The goal isn't to suffer, the goal is to build a sustainable system. And sustainable means budgeting for your actual life, not a monastery version of it. So here's the framework, a modified version of the 50-30-20 rule adjusted for debt. 50% of take-home income goes to needs: rent, utilities, groceries, transport, minimum debt payments. 30% goes to financial attack, extra debt payments, building a small emergency fund, savings. 20% goes to your life: travel, social, food out, things that remind you why you're doing this. That last 20% isn't a reward, it's maintenance. It keeps the system running. Now about that emergency fund. This is non-negotiable even in heavy debt. Most people think, pay debt first, save later. But without an emergency cushion, every unexpected expense goes on a credit card, which adds to the debt you're trying to eliminate. $1,000 emergency fund first, before any extra debt payments. Then once you have that, redirect everything else to debt until the high-interest stuff is gone. Then build the fund up to 3 months of expenses, then keep attacking debt. Let's talk about refinancing. This one move can change your entire timeline. If you have private student loans or credit card debt above 15%, refinancing could drop your rate significantly. But you need good credit to get a good refinancing rate. And you need to understand what you're giving up, especially with federal loans. If you refinance federal loans into a private loan, you lose all federal protections. Income-driven repayment, forgiveness options, pause capabilities, gone. So only refinance federal loans if you're financially stable, earning well, and never plan to need those protections. For credit cards, balance transfers can work. 0% introductory offers on new cards. You transfer your high-interest balance. Pay it down aggressively during the 0% window, usually 12 to 21 months. When the window closes, the rate spikes, so have a plan. Now let's talk about the psychological side of this, because it's bigger than the math. $90,000 feels like a life sentence when you're 22 or 25. It's not. But it can become one if you ignore it and pretend it doesn't exist. The people who get through this are not the ones who are most disciplined. They're the ones who stayed consistent. Small actions, every month, without stopping. Automation is your best tool here. Set up auto payments for minimums and auto transfers for extra payments. Remove the decision from the equation. If you have to actively decide to pay debt every month, willpower eventually runs out. Make the system do it. You focus on the income side. Track your net worth quarterly, not obsessively, once every 3 months. Write down your total debt balance. Compare it to last quarter. Watch the number shrink. That shrinking number is the motivation you need for the next 90 days. Social comparison is another trap in your 20s, hard to avoid but critical to address. Friends buying things, going on trips, posting lifestyles. Some of them are doing it without debt. Some of them are doing it with debt they can't see yet. You're playing a longer game, and longer games have different rules. The goal isn't to look like you're winning at 25, it's to actually win by 35. Now let's zoom out. What does winning actually look like? At year 1, high-interest debt knocked out, emergency fund in place, income growing. At year 2, refinancing completed if applicable, side income stable, lifestyle inflation controlled. At year 3, federal loans on income-driven repayment or on aggressive payoff plan depending on total. At year 5, potentially debt-free or within sight of it. Net worth positive for the first time. At year 10, the person who had $90,000 in debt at 22 is now the person others ask for financial advice. That's not fiction. That's the math of consistent action over time. One last thing. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be persistent. Miss a month, get back on track. Overspend on a trip, adjust and move forward. The debt doesn't care about your feelings, but it does respond to consistent payments. Every dollar you throw at it is a dollar that stops compounding against you and starts working for you instead. So here's where you start. Tonight, not next month. Tonight, list every debt, balance, rate, minimum payment, 4 columns. Identify your highest rate. That's your first target. Calculate what you could throw at it each month above the minimum. Then automate it. Set the transfer. Make the decision once. That's it. That's the beginning of getting out of $90,000 in debt without losing your 20s. If this gave you a clear path, subscribe. We cover the real financial situations nobody else breaks down honestly.